Here we are again with Matt Anderson of the Toronto Blue Jays, longtime 20-year Major League Baseball scouting veteran. We want to talk today specifically about scouting position players and what Matt does and what I do when we show up at a game and coming from different perspectives. Matt was a hitter,
Not a very
position
good
player. he was apparently not a very good one, but had a good college baseball career before heading into Major League Baseball as a scout. And I, of course, come from a pitching perspective. So we want to talk about scouting position players specifically. Go.
Okay, so I'm showing up. I'm coming to watch you, and you're a position player. Let's say I'm going to a high school game. I get out of my car. I've got my stopwatch with me. That's really all I need that day to scout him. But I want first thing I want to say is from the time I'm walking in, man, I am paying attention. I've got my eyes on. I'm watching everything from the people in the stands to what goes on in the field, and some things that are really critical that day for me to see. Is I want to see your athletic ability. I want to kind of see how you move around, what your body looks like. Can you run? And again, not necessarily just the timing run, but looking for explosiveness. I kind of want to rate, are you explosive or are you not explosive? And then we're into the pregame phase, and we're playing catch. Believe it or not, I go out and I want to watch you play catch. I want to see how your arm works. I want to see what your process is. I want to see what you're thinking, and then maybe you go into a pregame infield phase, and I'm going to watch you take ground balls. Anytime I could watch you take ground balls, if you're an infielder, I'm going to pay attention to that. And then the game starts, and during the game, I'm really watching maybe three things. I'm watching how your eyes react. Well, first I would say, oftentimes as scouts, we go on the side and we're going to try to watch your swing path. We want to get a side look, kind of see, does the bat work uphill, does it work downhill, do you get extension, how's your trigger? Those are kind of mechanical things that you see on the side. The longer I scout, I really do believe in sitting behind home plate, and I want to see how you react to a breaking ball. It's hard with the high school guys sometimes. They're going to come in and they're going to pitch around you if you're good, and those kind of things. And then the final thing, I'm trying to just get a feel of what your instincts are. How do you run the bases? How do you react to certain situations? Are you a baseball player or more of an athlete? And then I'm going to take all those kind of tools and ability to play together and then put them into a package, and I have to write a report that kind of decides what type of major league player I think you might be. So you work for the San Diego Padres as a part-time scout.
I do.
How do you see scouting a hitter?
So scouting a hitter / position player for me is going to be all the things Matt just mentioned, but I always like to focus on intangibles with guys. And the reason I focus on intangibles is because I know that if we do like a guy and we want to take him in the draft, that eventually that guy's going to be part of a clubhouse. He's going to be part of a 25-man roster that is going to play 140 to 162 games a year, not including playoffs. And I want to know how that guy goes about his business. So like Matt said, you show up at the park, you're watching how a guy, warms up. Does he sprint out to his position? Does he walk out to his position? Is he looking in the stands at his girlfriend? Is he over talking to mom and dad when everybody else is doing something else? I also, of course, when it comes to the tools, I'm looking at breaking down those tools into parts, meaning you might have a guy who you clock at a 3.9 to first, and you go, wow, that guy can really run. But then you see him trying to steal second base. Does he have an idea how to steal second base? Does he understand how to get his leads, how to deke the pitcher? What's his technique like when he does that? Can he go first to third? Because baseball is a 60-yard game. If he can go first to third really well and second to home really well, that's a big deal to me. So maybe a guy only runs a 4.3 to first base, but second to home, he's just flying because he's got great, what I call finishing speed. So these are type of things that I'm going to look at when I'm watching a player. And then, of course, the arm, and I start to look at, maybe it's a high school shortstop, but he's only the high school shortstop because he's the best athlete on the team, and the coach is just putting him there. So then I go, does his tools grade out as a major league shortstop? And you look at body type, and you look at quickness, and you look at range, and you look at arm, and you're comparing him against the guys that your organization has. So when I see those things, I go, well, maybe this guy's a shortstop at the major league level, but maybe he's a second baseman, maybe he's a third baseman. So you kind of have to filter some of those things as you're scouting a guy. Any other things like
I have one comment. So this is like my warning or encouragement to you out there if you're a player. many times in my career, I might have been checking in on your game. I've got a college game at 7, and I had an earlier game at 1 o'clock, and I'm driving by, and I'm going to get one at bat. And that might be my only look ever at you. And again, so you have to play the game like you're being looked at. You just never know when some guy just showed up, got out of his car, walked in with a stopwatch, and watched one at bat. And I'm not talking about performance necessarily, whether you got a hit, but did you run hard? Did you fire your helmet and cuss when you get made an out or whatever? Mm-hmm. And so, again, you just never know. Sometimes it was that limited of a look, and that might have led me to think, I'll come back and watch that guy for next year, or, I might move on down the road. So my encouragement with that is just play hard, man. Be aggressive in all that you do, and that'll bode well.
Yeah. As always, wanting to add value here for up-and-coming players, parents, whatever the case may be at the ProSource YouTube channel. Thanks again to Matt Anderson for his time today, and look for our next segment on evaluating pitchers. Thanks so much.